Telling ya. And today we're going to be doing something a little different. I thought I would do a bit more of a design log. Maybe we can talk a bit about the quest design that I want to have in Neko Quest. So initially when I was thinking of quests, they sort of fell in the archetype of just these boring, typical quests of, kill 10 rats and bring me back 10 rat tails, or, deliver this package to this person, things like that. Find this item from this location, escort quests, right? And I felt that a game called Neko Quest, I don't want the quests to at least be an interesting part of the game. So I came up with a couple ideas I was thinking about for making the quests sort of more interesting and engaging, and just not sort of avoiding them being repetitive, because ideally it's going to be like a roguelike game and you're going to be repeating it a lot. Having quests be repetitive would be not ideal. So some things I was thinking were just some examples. So like I guess like situational quests. So things like you go into the forest and you find some ninja stars stuck in a tree and a trail of blood leading deeper into the forest, and you have to investigate clues to like find out what happened. And then maybe you find the injured ninja. It can be like, you gain one of their weaponry, you gain like a really cool sword or something from that, or maybe they lead to a different quest. Maybe we can call it the Ninjured Quest. I don't know. Or like maybe there's a giant library where you're reading the books, and then one of them you pull out, it's like a secret passageway opens up, and you need to use the knowledge that you read in the books to navigate like traps and get to the end, and then that'll lead somewhere else. You know what I mean? So things like this were sort of my basis of like examples of quests, right? Like things where, a thing leads to another thing, and what you're doing is not just, killing things, finding things, it's more like nuanced, I guess, was what I was trying to go for. Another thing I wanted to make a point was having like multiple solutions. So maybe instead of just, so maybe a quest, here's an example of like a situational quest, right? It would be like fortify the village to help defend the villagers from the wolf attack. And so this could be like a multi-solutional approach. And maybe it would even scale the solutions. So maybe like you could help them build a wall and a moat around the village, and that would, give some result, and most of the villagers survive. And then maybe you can say, make a bunch of weapons at the blacksmithing table and give them to the villagers, and then like a little more survive. And maybe even you become part of the fighting force. You help fight off the attack too, and like everybody survives. You're hero of the village. You get a really good reward. So maybe even, you could have multiple solutions, and based on that, you could have multiple rewards that scale up in difficulty. Or maybe you could have something along the lines of like follow-up quests, or sort of, relational quests. So maybe, let's say, like one of the villagers, I don't know, I'm talking about villagers so much, they're still on my mind, I guess. Let's say one of the villagers, like they locked their keys in their house and they need to get back in. Maybe some of the solutions could be you could lockpick the door, you could break through the window, climb down the chimney. I don't know. It's a seasonally relevant solution. And maybe these could even use like your stats differently. So like maybe if you're a rogue build, you'd be way better at lockpicking the door versus, a like barbarian build would just break through the window, get the keys, and get out of there, or whatever. But then, if you break the window, homie's like, hey, my window, and then that will maybe lead to a follow-up, like fix the window somehow, and you can board it up, and the person will, it'll follow up. Or like if you lockpicked the door, the person will say, hey, you're pretty handy at this lockpicking stuff. My friend had a locked chest that they forgot in the river, deep in the forest. Why don't you go check that out? So the chest quests could really lead into one another. The next point I have is unique rewards. So rewards that really are just not boring, I guess. Like, I don't want to give the player a sword that is marginally better than they already have, or is just going to get unused, end up being sold, right? I want things that are really like, interesting. So like the ninja sword from earlier, maybe it lets you become invisible for a couple turns after attacking, with like a certain percentage chance. Or maybe, like I said before, like it could lead to a follow-up quest, like, you fetch a coin from the bottom of the well, or a locket from the bottom of the well. They say, oh, thanks, here's the insides of the locket. There was a piece of paper in there. This isn't mine. And it's a map to go find, another treasure chest. Maybe there'll be a lot of treasure chests. Who knows? Or like maybe for defending the village, the villagers are thankful. They say, thank you. The reason there was the attack is because of the dungeon that is so close to the village. Here's a map, or here's the directions for how to get there. Maybe you can go take it out. I think stuff like that would be really engaging and sort of make the world feel real, rather than, thanks for defending the village. Here's your golds. I think quests like that are fine, but I would rather have at least a more variety, and more of them being, interesting like this, that actually have, non-standard rewards. Yeah. That being said, I think it would be fine to have like the standard, kill 10 rats, kill 10 Snekos for however much gold. But maybe we can like, tie it into the regular quests. So, so let's take some examples, like, kill 10 Snekos might be a quest, or explore the hidden cavern might just be separate quests, or like, get a secret item, look for the secret item and bring it back to me. But instead we could change it to, maybe just find this secret item, or like maybe even not like worded like that. Maybe it could be, oh, there's a hidden cave nearby. I hear there's good treasure in there. And so that it gives the player the option, like, hey, hidden cave, let me go there. And when you get there, you end up already killing the Snekos as part of your exploration. You end up exploring the cave looking for the hidden loot, right? So the sort of having a quest where, there's components tied into it that are, the regular quest components. I don't think an escort quest is necessarily bad, like as just existing, but I think having it just be an escort quest would be boring. So having things like, oh, you escort the NPC from one village to another, but on the way, the enemies attack, and when you defeat them, you discover that he was actually the bandit leader the whole time, things like this. Yeah, so like standard quests with like a twist, I guess, would be the idea there, maybe. Anyway, last main point I thought of was sort of like thematic quests. So like, enemies in the desert, or not enemies, NPCs in the desert would be like, needing different stuff. Maybe they need, fans and, water, versus in the snowy area, they might need, blankets and coal for their furnace. And what I was thinking with the bartering system is like, so say you do go to the snowy area, they're like, yeah, we need blankets, we need coal for our furnace, whatever. You bring them these things, they give you sort of these, not like item rewards, but sort of, I guess, less tangible things. So like you bring them the blankets, they're like, oh, thank you. If you need a bed to rest for the night and, recover HP, then there's one open now. Or like, since you brought them coal to power their furnace, you can now have access to their forge permanently. So it's like, I guess, rewards from quests that will, I guess, affect the worlds. And maybe this can be even going further. So like, say, you defeat the bandit in the forest. Now trade caravans can go through, so shop prices are cheaper. Things like this. So like making the world feel like, your actions are impacting it and impacting the NPCs in ways where they're like, they might not even know it's you. You go to a shop and the prices are cheaper. They're like, yeah, ever since the bandit fort got taken out, or, ever since you killed that beaver dam, river trade has been really good. I don't know. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts on sort of making quest design interesting in Neko Quest. I haven't implemented any of these, of course. They sound extremely hard to implement, so we'll see where it goes. But I just thought I'd talk about it for a bit and just see what happens. Just yeah, if you have any other ideas for quest, building on this, any other quest ideas or cool things, of course, feel free to comment. And yeah, thanks for listening. I hope this was interesting. And yeah, I guess that's all. I'll see you later. Bye.